Hey there, just a quick message before you tune into the next episode. This is B. Wendy Jackson. Just a couple of changes. If you're interested in my books, I have two resources available on Amazon. You can search for me for the books at B. Wendy Bob. Two books will come up. They are amazing. They will help you experience hope and healing. And then there's an Empower to Empower You podcast, workbook or reflection workbook based on the podcast. As you listen to certain episodes, you can engage in deeper reflection. I really hope that those resources are going to add value to your lives, and I know that they will. If you're interested in services or how to connect with me, you can visit my new website. I have a new website, y'all. Oh my gosh. You can visit the new website, Against All Odds, P as in Paul, C as in Charlie, S as in Snake.com. Against All Odds, PCS.com. There you can subscribe to the newsletter. And you can also visit visit the website to learn how you can be a guest on the podcast, learn about the services that we have to offer, and many more. If you want to email me, you can email me at hello at against all odds. That's AGAIN as in Nancy, S as in Sam, TALLOD as in dog, D as in dog, S as in Sam, P as in Paul, C as in Charlie, S as in Sam or Snake.com. Hello at against all odds, PCS.com. Or you can email me at bwendyjacksonlcsw at outlook.com. See you later. Talk to you soon. Stay empowered. Enjoy the next episode. Well, hello, everyone. This is B. Wendy Jackson, your lovely host of the Empowered to Empower You podcast. It's so good to be here and tune in with you again. Just for those of you who are joining for the first time, Empowered to Empower You podcast is about all things Jesus Christ, mental health, anything to help you become the better version of yourself. Each episode is packed with inspiration, information, and insight. And I've been having some amazing guests. If I want to say this, if you have been supporting the podcast, following the podcast since January 2020, thank you so much. Excited about season number 4 in 2024. So if this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. I always love to say, and I sometimes don't say it, the podcast is not a replacement for salvation. Neither is it a replacement for therapy. It is an aid, it is a support. And so, of course, just wanted to make sure I say that as a disclaimer. So today I have an amazing guest. I'm so excited. Today I have evangelist Connie Booker. Connie is serving as a co-pastor at Cathedral of Faith Community Church under the leadership of her husband of 35 years, Reverend C.L. Booker. She's a mother, she's a grandma. She is an advocate. She serves in her community. She has been an official collaborative leader with the Tennessee Department of Children's Services, DCS, Building Community Partnerships Initiative. Connie is a strong advocate for children and families in Memphis and has such a sincere and nurturing manner towards the dispossessed and the underrepresented. I could say so much about Connie. Personally, she has been a huge asset and value to our lives. Personally, our son was in her daycare in the last couple years, I believe. And so he has thrived as a result of being served by her and her team. And so we're just happy to be here, have her here today as we talk about the topic, keeping families together. So I want to welcome Connie Booker to the Empowered to Empower You podcast. Hey, Connie.
Good morning. How you doing, Be Wendy?
I am well. I am well. I'm well. I'm so excited to have you. I know that we were trying to have you last year, but we believe God, things work out for a reason, right? There's timing is very important when it comes to
Amen.
planning things, for sure. So I always love to ask, especially because we're still in the beginning, the first quarter of the year. Do you have a word? Like, what is your word? Some people are coming up with goals and visions, and for me, I came up with I just have a word, and so I'm just curious. Do you have a word for you this year?
My word for this year is elevation.
Ooh,
And I want God to elevate in every area, every aspect, in whatever capacity that He have for me. But most of all, I want to elevate more in God, and I
yeah,
want to see God's people elevate where those dreams and visions and goals, and we can say New Year's resolutions,
right.
that they elevate in those things. But keeping God first, and He
Yeah.
will elevate you to the path that He have for you.
I love that word, Connie. I really do. So I mean, I only touched on your bio. Your bio does not even give you, and what I said does not give justice to what you do and how you serve. I know that you are a woman who is filled with the Spirit of God, the heart of the Lord towards people, towards children, towards family. I have to ask you though, of all the things you do, what do you enjoy doing the most?
Serving
Yeah.
in whatever capacity, whether it's in the child enrichment center, if it's just being a listening ear for someone, ministering to someone, just being there. I mean, serving, that is me, and I think I was born to serve because there's no hidden agendas for me when I serve God's people, and we're all God's people.
Uh-huh. Let's talk about family preservation. Why are you passionate about this work? And for people that may not be familiar, because I have listeners from all over, what does family preservation mean? And then talk about why you passionate about this work.
Family preservation is basically preserving the families. It's a lot of prevention in preserving families. It's like we go through different things in life and doing what we can to keep the family stable, keep the family sustained, just being there to support the family. So
Yeah.
preserving them, being there for them, things that we take for granted, Wendy, it's a mountain to them, but we look at it as a molehill. But
Hmm.
doing what we can to support, and I like using the word support families opposed to helping families, because a lot of times when help enables, but putting them in a place and a position where they can thrive and stop surviving. And what we're doing right now is surviving day to day, but we want to get them to a place where we get that shift in the mindset where they want to do better, and we're here to encourage them, to coach them, to hold their hand and walk them through the process.
Yeah. Why are you passionate about this work? And just give a little history as to how did you get involved and how and why are you passionate?
Well, we've been working with Department of Children's Services, and I said we as the collaborative and the church itself for about 18 years now. And the
Wow.
very how we got involved in this work was DCS was looking for a liaison in the community, to connect with the families, to dispel the myths that all DCS wanted was their children. Children are removed from homes for different reasons, but knowing that our safety is paramount. If we get to a place that we see that this child is being placed in harm's way, then the child have to be removed from the home. But the ultimate goal is reunification. So finding out what's going on with the family, what need to be met to make the home what it needs to be, and always keeping in mind that not that it's a bad parent. Oftentimes circumstances and situations put them in a place where they made a bad choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's how you get involved. Why are you passionate about this work?
The first family that we worked with, she was going through a whole lot, and she gave me the history on the process that she had been through, and everybody was just giving her a sheet of paper with call this place, call that place, go here, go there.
Yeah,
Well, we know
yeah,
there's a lot of barriers when people don't have the transportation,
Yes.
A lot of times they feel intimidated when they go into different places. So I engaged with this lady. A DCS worker personally called me and said, Miss Booker, I know you are the one to help this lady through this process. And I said, help her. She said, yeah, I know you can help her. I said, well, how can I help her? So after reading the little narrative, I said, no, she don't need help. She needs support navigating through the system. I
Mm.
called her, we met, and I held her hand and I walked her through the process. I went with her to the different meetings. She was going to one therapy session and she was telling me she didn't like it and how they talk and act at the place. So I accompanied her to one of her sessions, and just being in the waiting room and how they talked to her. She said, I told you. She kept looking at me saying, I told you. Now, these people had no clue who I was. So I
Mm.
said, okay, so we left there, we talked, we found her another um,
Therapist.
facility to go to, and I went with her to every session. I didn't accompany her in all the rooms. Maybe the first two I did. She started being comfortable. It was a far distance out from the, inner city. I took her to these meetings. I sat with her. On our way back home, she would share what she discussed in her sessions, and I would ask her how did she feel about it? Was she comfortable? And she did. So at that point, that's when I really learned, okay, they need support. So
Mm.
walked her through that process. She got her children back, took her around to different housing, and got her to a shift in her mindset that she wasn't willing to just settle anymore.
Mm.
This home rents for this apartment rent for that. Oh, that's
Yeah.
fine, but it's not what I really want.
Yeah.
So elevated her in her mind
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
she could have better and she could do better. And that's when it just came to me. They need support, somebody to hold their hand.
I love that. Even when you're saying that, I like to come up with these matching like phrases, right? So
Okay,
what I wrote down is help. You said help enables, and I wrote support empowers.
I
Is
like
that
that.
I
Mm-hmm.
like that. I really like, I haven't heard anyone differentiates between the difference with support versus help. Help
Mm-hmm.
enables, but support empowers. Because if I can support you, then that means I activate the your capacity to keep thriving and
Correct.
not just being in this codependent or dependent pattern where you depend on other people to do it for you. That's
Mm-hmm.
really that you were able to do that. And so 18 years later, you are still very involved in working towards supporting families. In your write-up, you mentioned that you wanted to raise awareness. You've been partnering with DCS for the past 18 years, and you said something that really struck me that there are over 1,100 children in foster care, in care.
That's
Can you
true.
talk a little bit about that?
And that's in Shelby County alone. It's
Wow.
over 8,000 in the state of
Mm.
Tennessee, but Shelby is the largest county in the state as well. So we have 1,100 children, over 1,100 children in foster care. 95% of those are African American.
Mm.
Um, and it's not that it's like I said before, it's not that it's all bad parents. Some just made bad choices. And it's not that it's all bad children. Some of them are just typical teenagers, but for the lack of support in the home, it often ends up with children coming in foster care. I'll give you one quick example.
Mm.
Mom makes the choice to leave her children at home. She have an hour in between getting off from work and getting home, and the children are home alone. Well, children supposed to be supervised, but
Yeah.
mom looking at it's only 1 hour. But systematically, we look at the million things that could happen in that 1 hour with children being home alone. A fire could break out, an intruder can come in. I mean, and the list just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
So oftentimes people choose to call a referral in to the state saying that these children are unsupervised, opposed to engaging mom and saying, I've noticed that these children are home alone for an hour or two every evening. How about they come across the street to my house until you get home? That way we know that they're safe and everything okay. But
Mhm.
oftentimes we don't take the village mentality that we used to have, and it does take a village. So we need to reactivate the village.
You're so right about that. You're so right about that. You know, one of the things you mentioned was that there's this need for this wraparound support for foster parents. Explain what the wraparound support consists of.
Wraparound support is basically, how we look at it is to identify resources and services within the community that a family can access. A lot of times transportation is a barrier. So if I'm living, just say, in the Midtown downtown area, and I don't have transportation, well, that puts me in a hardship to try to get to East Memphis or the outskirts of town to try to get the services that you say that I need. I do not deny that I need these services, but by me not following through and making my appointments, then it's almost as if I'm not in compliance. So identifying wraparound support and services within your community
Hmm.
that makes it easy for families to access. Uh, I'll use mental health, for example. I've had a lot of clients that we worked with that said that they desire mental health services. However, it's challenging to them to try to get there.
Hmm.
Sometimes, like my insurance, and we know that a lot of our families that we work with, they're on the 10 care insurance. So it's hard for them to get what's centrally located for them because they don't take those type of insurances. We know some resources do go to the home, so it's basically just finding whatever it is that a family need. And when we access these families and do these assessments, we want to always allow the family to tell us what they need, not what we think they need.
So what I'm hearing you say is the wraparound services, one of the goals of those supports of the services is closing the gap between the need and the family or the service, between the need and the service,
Exactly.
or removing the distance between what the family needs and the service to help support the family based on that need.
That's, you got it right on the head.
And so that wraparound, when I think about wraparound, I'm thinking of, I'm wondering if there's like a diagram, like, a circle or a circle of support. I'm thinking about my mind works in like diagrams. And so that may look different for every family. Would you say that? Would you say the wraparound looks different per the need of the family?
It is individually based. And
Okay.
oftentimes we get caught up in the cookie cutter
Yes.
approach,
Yes.
and it doesn't work for me. And it's almost like I said before, it's like I'm not in compliant to what you're giving me, but it does not meet my need.
Yes. That's so
And
good. Yeah.
so, I
Yeah.
mean, even when it comes to wraparound, we can just look at the resources that we have in our community. We can look at the churches in our community. We can look at the library, the school, uh, what doctor offices are available that we can access. And we can get all the way down to the local grocery.
Yep.
And we know we have so many uh, people that have the don't have the access to the foods that they need, fresh fruits and groceries. That's one thing that I know that has come out of North Memphis, since we know it is a food desert. One of the other partner agencies that we work with is Whole Child Strategies.
Mhm.
Now we have a bus coming to North Memphis on Tuesdays and Thursdays and
Mhm.
make three stops where they pick up people in the community to take them to Midtown to the cash savers, take them to the Catholic charities where if they lacking in funds where they still can get food. And in the in the summertime, they go downtown to the farmers market and they give them tokens to be able to purchase those items. So when the farmers market closed down in the
Yeah.
wintertime, they take them to Fraser to Raleigh to the Walmart. And
Wow.
where the Walmart center is, they can get all their basic needs out of Walmart. They can get their fresh fruits and vegetables in grocery shop. And it's even a Kroger in that same little parking area over there where the bus go. So it's just really knowing what the need is and doing what you can to make a difference.
Yeah, wow. This things just hearing that makes you appreciate it for what we have access to for sure. Because a lot of times you said this earlier, we take that for granted. And people, what may seem easy to some people is very difficult and complicated for others for sure. So what do you think? I know that there's a need, clearly there's a need for foster parents and wraparound supports for the 11,000 kids in Shelby County and the 8,000 kids in Tennessee. What qualifies as a really excellent foster parent?
Well, there's the criteria that you have to go through to become a foster parent. But I say, first of all, understanding the trauma and the needs of children.
Yeah,
And you have to have the heart and the patience for it. I say it's a calling because at the end of the day, all of this work that we do when we're working and serving people, working with people, it's ministry at the
yeah,
end of the day. Uh, the word of God tells us, I was hungry and you didn't feed me. I was naked and you didn't clothe me.
yeah.
I was in prison and you visited me not. And I take that imprisonment thing a little deeper because we think about imprisoned as being locked up behind bars, but I
Mm,
always said locked up in your inner self.
yes. Hmm.
That makes a difference. Locked up in your mind. And like I said, it's about shifting the mindset or whatever it is. I mean,
Yeah.
even when foster parents take these children in their home, they got to have that patience to work with them and deal with them and do
Mm.
that shift and the nurturing and the love, all of that is automatic.
Mm. So I heard you say three key things. They have to, number one, recognize it's a calling. They have to have the willingness to love and nurture, and they have to be trauma informed and be sensitive to the needs of the child. Did I
Hmm.
sum that up well?
That's it.
So let's kind of, move into the call for action. Um, you are, even now, you're advocating on this episode. You advocate, that's what you do. You're a servant and you're an advocate for the needs of these families and for the needs of the kids. And I want to publicly tell you thank you for what you're doing. Um, who is the call to action to?
The call of action is to everybody. Nobody is exempt. You may not have the desire to be a foster parent, but there is something that you can do. You can volunteer your time. You can definitely give of your resources. Um, we have community reps where those are individuals that are trained to sit in on child and family team meetings when those individuals families come to the attention of the department, like I was when I first started and held the lady's hand and walked her through the process until her children were back home. So the call of action is to the churches. We need more churches to be educated on foster care. A lot of the people sitting in congregations right today are foster parents. Some of them are former foster children. And the church has always been the anchor of the
Yeah.
community. You could go to the church if you could go nowhere else. You could always go to the church. So anyone that's willing to open up their heart in any capacity, just to say, what can I do? I want to help. And we will find somewhere to make that fit, because when you talk to people and you start seeing where their passion is, you kind of know where to place them.
So let me ask you this. Let's tease it a little bit more. So, what's an example of where somebody might or could give of their time? Like, what's an opportunity? What's an example of an opportunity that may come up for that?
We have volunteer opportunities in the month of April. We do the last Saturday in April, we do a big foster care awareness parade and community festival in the community. We need volunteers for that. We need agencies that provide resources to come out and be a vendor, set up a booth on that day to give out information on what services that your agency offer. We have other groups that meet. We have a church group that meet. I actually have a collaborative partner meeting the second Wednesday of each month, where we talk about the data, we talk about the needs, we talk about what strategies and plans that we can come up with to be more visible and more vibrant when it comes to recruitment of foster parents.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
we do something in December. We do a big Thanksgiving. So we're like all year around. So if they call me or contact me, we always have something going on where you can volunteer your time and your services. Even if a church allowed us the opportunity to come in and share with their congregation. Um, May is National Foster Care Awareness Month. November is National Adoption Month, but it's all year long because children are coming into care every day.
Yes. Yes. This is good. Let's go and let's talk about your child enrichment center,
Oh,
which
that's my new baby.
yes, which has been a blessing for us.
Cathedral of Faith Child Enrichment Center actually was a vision over 10 years ago. And the word of God said, write the vision down and make it plain, though it's hairy, wait. So we waited and we waited and we waited some more. So in 2021, now 2022, the daycare was birthed after the pandemic. We was about to open, the pandemic came, we had to wait some more. So right after the pandemic, we got the green light to go. We opened up the center, and that was another vision that we wanted to make our center affordable. That's another challenge for working moms that make $1 too much to receive the child care stipend, the certificate program. So we wanted to make our center affordable. And it's a child enrichment center. We don't want it to be just a daycare, a babysitting service. We want our children to learn. It is Christian based, and our hours are 7 to 5:30. Um, and the children are thriving. We have some, just as your son Kyle has gone on to kindergarten and he's
Yes.
doing well. We have a couple of more that have gone to kindergarten, and I'm just happy because the thing about the Child Enrichment Center, it allows us the opportunity to take that holistic approach. It's not just about the children. I have a wonderful staff here. Um, I always tell everybody I want them to be alert and focused. When a mom or a dad come in, I want you to know if something has changed from yesterday or last week. If they're not their bubbly self, give them an encouraging word going out the door. If the Lord have you to call them to the side, call me. I'll talk to them, because people really gravitate to me and they'll talk and share. And I'm going to pray with them before they leave here and make sure that everything is okay. So that's
Yeah.
our baby.
I love Child Enrichment Center. We love it. We appreciate the work that y'all have done, that y'all still do. And you're right. I will say this, Connie, I mean, you and your team really care. You can tell. I've heard the horror stories about daycares. Like, oh my gosh. And I'm just so thankful that that's not our narrative. That is not our narrative. So how do you, and I know you do a good job at this, but just for the audience, how do you involve the parents? I mean, parents, parents are stressed. They're going through, they're just looking for a place to like watch their kid, and they're trusting that their child is in good hands for the next 6 or 4 or 8 hours, or 4 to 8 hours. How do you involve the parents? Is that a challenge to involve the parents with the Child Enrichment Center?
Our parents that we have here on board now, they're very engaged
Yeah.
with us. They know we have an open door policy. You don't have to have an appointment to drop in and see what your child doing. We give daily reports on what's going on with the child. We send pictures, especially if the child come in having a bad day and they may be crying and want mommy or daddy. We'll send out pictures to them throughout the day and let them know that, they got over that little hump that they was on the morning. So we just really try. We invite them. We do parent appreciation. We do so much to them. It don't have to be a special day or a special occasion for something to happen. The Lord may put it in my heart to give everybody a Starbucks gift card, and we don't, use center funds to do things. If God tell me to do something, He's telling me to do it.
Yeah.
So we send home daily reports to let them know what the children ate for lunch, what time they went to sleep, what time they woke up, the
Yeah.
snacks. So we just try to keep them informed, and we have a they don't nobody here, Ben Wendy, I can tell you this. Nobody comes in and sign their child out and grab them and go out the door. I promise you, every day the
Mhm.
parents, they stand, they talk, and they share, and even about the other children at home, the older children, when the new baby come. And so we're just a family here, and I love that approach.
Love that. Yes. How many babies do you have now?
Right now we have 8 right now. Our capacity is 30, and so we're looking for to this is the year that we're going to reach that 30.
Oh,
And I'm
yes, you
looking
have.
forward to it, because when we increase in our numbers, we have the opportunity to be a blessing to someone else, because then that means our staff
Yes,
numbers go up as well.
absolutely. Absolutely. So let's kind of try to end. What would you say to someone who's thinking about fostering?
Someone that's thinking about fostering, actually, an event is coming up on the 20th of April to engage the current foster parents, to support them and love on them. And then the noonday is going to be for churches and other organizations that want to get involved. And the evening is going to be for new potential foster parents. So we would love for them to come out that day. And we have the speaker in a lot of the, but we're still in the planning stages. We just had another meeting yesterday, but I will keep you informed on that
Yeah.
information. But I would just tell them they can call me at any time, 901-327-1616. That's the main office number. You can always leave a message there if you're interested in becoming a foster parent, or in any volunteer way. Just call 901-327-1616. That's the office number. Or you can email me at cofcc1 at yahoo.com. That's COFCC, the number one, at yahoo.com. And Wendy, I'm going to go a step further than that. I'm going to give your listening audience my personal cell phone number, and they
Wow.
can call me at 901-949-8226. And I
Wow.
would love to speak with anyone. If it's anything that I need to verify, give a little more clarity on, or hold your hand and walk you through the process of becoming a foster parent, I will be there every step of the way.
I love it. Well, thank you for that, Ms. Connie. Do you have any, are you on social media or anything like that for the that people,
Everything is kind of in the process with the Child Enrichment Center. Our website and everything with the church is being revamped. So
yes,
it's not completed yet, but I'll make sure you get that information as well. So I would say within the next 60 to 90 days, we should have everything up and running as it should be.
perfect, wonderful, wonderful. Connie, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you feel led to share? Maybe there's a parent who is fostering. There are people who fostering and they're struggling, and they maybe feel like they've taken more than they can bear with the kids that they have, the needs of the children that they have. Is there a word of encouragement or anything else that you wish to share before we wrap up?
Well, first of all, I would just like to tell current foster parents that whatever you may be going through, and I know, like I said, this is a calling, this is a ministry, and just trust God and don't give up on the children. And there are foster parent support groups out there. You have My Fam, Memphis Interfaith Foster and Adopted Families of Memphis. They're out there. I'm a part of that group. Tennessee Kids Belong. I'm a part of that group. Uh, but don't give up. Please talk with some other foster parents so you can get that support that you need. And I know, and I've learned throughout the years, Wendy, that when you talk to other people, you really find out that what you're going through is not as bad as you think.
Yeah, perception.
So be
Awesome.
encouraged.
Well,
And
Connie, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
and if anyone is listening now and you are currently fostering, I just want to tell you thank you for your service, thank you for your work, and connect with me and let's see what we can do to recruit and encourage others.
Wow. Thank you, Connie, for being a wonderful guest, the work that you're doing, how you're serving. I know this is going to be a blessing to foster parents as well as potential foster parents, volunteers, and anyone that can contribute their time, their resources, or people just want to be involved in the cause, involved in the ministry of serving these children. Those of you who heard Connie, connect with her. I'm going to put her phone number and her email. She gave you her work number, her personal number, and her email address. So you have three ways to get in touch with her and no excuse. Please share this. If you're not, if you're thinking, well, this may not be for me, you know somebody that may or may benefit from this. In fact, as she said, the call to action is for everyone. So therefore, we have no excuse whether we want to serve our time, our resources, connect our churches, be a mentor to a child who's been fostered. There's so many different ways to get involved. And so thank you so much for tuning in today. This is B. Wendy Jackson, your lovely host, and I'll be back next time with another empowering, encouraging episode. Have a wonderful day on purpose.